In this video, I'm going to be breaking down one of my favorite street magic videos of all time. I'm going to teach you the key secrets to an incredible street magic performance. I'll give you some expert insights into how to approach your audience. I'm going to be covering some tips in how you can absolutely dominate a street magic audience. What is good, guys? It is Reed and welcome back to another video. Today we got Give Me a Breakdown episode 23, breaking down part 1 of the How Did He Feel This Touch street magic video from Ottawa, Canada. So many incredible effects I'll be breaking down in part 1 today and later on in part 2 in a couple of weeks. Give Me a Breakdown is my performance breakdown series where you get all kinds of behind the scenes insights and expert tips on how to kill your magic and mentalism performances. In this video I'll be breaking down one of my favorite card magic effects as well as one of my go-to openers and something I do all the time. There's a ton of amazing tips in this video, so make sure you stick around till the end. Now I just wanted to quickly let you guys know I have just dropped my full live lecture on the wizard tier of my membership. This is a live lecture in front of a room of a bunch of magicians that I filmed near the end of last year in Buffalo, New York, where I was lecturing for the IBM Ring 12. This lecture is jam-packed with some of my strongest material from mentalism to card magic and everything in between, some of my best tips, killer insights, and incredible worker material. This is my mental minimalism lecture, which is all about how to get the most out of your mentalism, how to perform with minimal props, just billets, a Sharpie, and some cards, and then how to combine your magic and mentalism in the best way possible without having one take away from the other. So if you're at all interested in card magic, mentalism, and you like what I do here on the channel, this is a must-see lecture. It is available on the wizard tier of my membership, along with all the other masterclasses, Propless Mentalism Masterclass, my billet work lecture, and my entire practical mental magic course. You can sign up for that right here or at the link in the description. Also, if you guys would like to check out a private lesson, links are available down in the description. And with all that said, let's not waste too much more time and let's jump right into the video. This is from some street magic I did back in 2021, 2022, about 3 years ago now. Man, time flies.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. I want you to reach in here and you just touch anyone. Just touch it with your finger, anyone that you want. Oh, that one right there. You sure? All right, you see that card? Wait. Take it out. Let me see.
So this is my handling of the spread force, right? And this is why I think this is like the best force you can do. So I'll link my tutorial for my handling of the spread force up there, but the normal handling of the spread force that you typically see, like the Hofzinser spread force, is you have a card underneath in a cull position, and then they touch a card, and you would go like this and show it. My variation essentially allows you to achieve the same force, or essentially what would feel exactly like a classic force. So you start in the same position with that Ace of Hearts underneath, and then they will touch a card. The Ace of Hearts is here, but as I come up, I do the move, I push the Ace of Hearts over, and now it just looks like I lift right up in that position, and they can take out that card. So it really mimics the classic force. For me, it's like the surefire classic force. It's just better. It's the best force you can do, because you saw from that how incredibly fair it looks, right? He literally just reaches down, touches one, and I lift right up. So absolutely killer force. I'd highly recommend people check that out. Now that I have figured out what effect this is, so this is my handling of the Angle Z plot. Now Angle Z is an incredible effect. Daniel Madison, Jay Sankey, there's beef over who created that, but essentially, it's a torn corner, impossible location thing. Years ago, I think it was JS Magic, Jonathan over at JS Magic, great channel, go check it out. He's the king of street magic here on YouTube. And I remember seeing him do this. I'm not sure if he got this from somewhere, but it was the idea of having the card, or the torn corner rather, appear inside another playing card. And so I just really liked that idea of it appearing inside a card, and that's a concept that I've taken and done a lot of things with since then. If you were at the Monty convention a couple of weeks ago, you would have seen one of the touches I did on that when I was performing in the close-up show. You know, another handling for having something appear inside playing cards. I think it's a really unique idea and always hits really powerful. So I think there's ways to make this routine better. This is the way I've always done it. It's simply like a transposition, a torn corner kind of combine into one. But, you know, I've had some people say, oh, they don't understand the logic of this routine or the justification. It's just a routine that showcases a lot of really powerful moments of magic. So I really love this routine. You'll kind of see how it plays out. This card is forced. This card actually has the corner in it, the card that he's holding right now. And you'll see he'll sign it. He won't even notice the corners in it because there's some clever little things going on here. But let's take a look.
All right, here, I want you to sign it. Sign it. Put your name on it, make it special, right?
Oh, it's just like
It's just a lot of people do that, so yeah. All right, you just hold on to the marker for a second. All right, so I'll take the card and we'll leave it about in the middle of the deck, all right?
right now.
So there I did Kaelin Morelli's float switch from the looks of it. So one of my favorite top controls. So you can take a signed card like this one, place it right on top of the deck, and then lose it into the middle. I know that's not the best view, but when you push it in, it is controlled on top, and all it looks like you're doing is taking that card and just giving it a little spin like that. And the switch has been executed in that move. If you are not aware of Kaelin Morelli's float switch, it was kind of an under the radar little solo release I think he put out. I don't know if it's even still available on his website, but I love it as a top control. If I show you quickly from a better angle, it would look something like this. The 8 of diamonds is placed here, and it is controlled to the top. So at this point, the card is controlled to the top of the deck, and I am now gonna, I think, perform a double lift and give him another random card, which will actually just be his card.
So this is not your card, correct? Not your card. All right, hold out your hand.
So this is an interesting moment, and I want to rewind so you see that, because this is a great learning moment, and this is all kind of coming back to me now that I see this. I remember this guy, so the guy with the backwards hat next to me. You'll see he reaches for my card as I'm doing the double lift. So my theory is that he either is aware of the double lift, or potentially there was a flash, or he saw the card split a little bit and he wanted to go see if there were 2 cards, because he clearly reaches for that card. But you see how I handle it. I don't make a big deal of it. I notice him going for the cards, and I just move the cards away, and I think he kind of reaches, and I just keep moving the cards away. You know, I don't need to put my hand to block him. I don't need to be like, oh, what are you doing, right? It's just diverting attention away from that moment, and seemingly, like, he's not mad, he's not calling me out or anything. He just had a moment, he made a reaction, and I'm just managing the situation and moving away as if to show that card to someone else. I'm not making a big deal out of this moment, but it's also saving me any kind of headaches down the line of if he would have actually touched that card. Some performers might have, you know, not moved, and he would have touched the card and could have split the double or ruined the effect. But it's just these little things that are so important, right? It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's good to see these little things in practice and how it really doesn't look like much, but there was actually something really important happening here. So let's rewind a little.
So this is not your card, correct? Not your card. All right, hold out your hand.
So you see he reached there, I pull away and I do it.
Quick pause in your regularly scheduled program. I just want to let you guys know that I offer one-on-one virtual private magic lessons, perfect for beginner to advanced magicians and mentalists looking to improve their technique, sleight of hand, learn any of my best effects, learn the fundamentals of card magic, mentalism, or absolutely anything. This is the best value in magic in terms of getting you to become a better magician. I can sit with you one-on-one, tell you exactly what you personally need to work on, and teach you a bunch of the incredible material that I perform in my professional repertoire. If you decide to take a lesson with me, you will get 24/7 personal contact, you'll get custom curriculums, personally tailored effects. Every lesson you will get a downloadable recording, giving you something you can keep with you forever and always return to learn at your own pace. Over on my website, I have a bunch of reviews and testimonials, both video and written form, that you guys can check out. And if you'd like some more info or to book a lesson, all you have to do is head over to the link in the description, or feel free to send me an email at rf.sleights@gmail.com. Now, back to the video.
Okay? Just keep it safe. Okay? You keep it safe.
Wait, there's no way.
So this again is another key moment where lots of effects where you're putting a card in the spectator's hand that's not their card. And you see from this group, there's younger guys, you know, they're not the best at following instructions all the time. We've already had one guy try to reach for my cards. It's very important that I make it clear what I need to happen. So you'll see how I took his hand, put the card in his hand, took his hand and placed it on top of the card. I give it a little squeeze. I put my hands around his, I give it a little squeeze, and I emphasize to him, keep it safe, don't let anyone go near it, right? And I'm not saying don't let me go near it. I'm not telling him not to look at it, because the second you tell him not to look at it, he's gonna wanna do it. I'm just telling him to keep it safe. Obviously, he's gonna think keep safe from me, make sure I don't touch it. And so he's gonna do that job well to make sure I don't go near it or anything like that, right? So you can see my attention is off him, because at this point I'm confident that he understands the instructions and he is gonna do his job and not spoil it. Another thing that's important to factor in is, why didn't I pick the guy with the backwards hat, right? Your audience selection. I didn't just choose this guy at random. Maybe from other effects, maybe just from this performance, I had a sense that he is someone who would listen to the instructions. He's not like the guy with the backwards hat who was handsy. Right away, I know I'm not gonna give him the card because he's gonna probably flip it over. I'm sure he would have. Some of the other guys are a little bit more loud, or they're saying things. They're coming across like they might not follow my instructions the best. So all these little things are very important, and I'm considering all these things. It's all about just giving yourself the best opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, here. Look at it. No, leave it.
Okay?
I need you to
The top G.
There's another thing. He says, he actually asks now, or one of them asks, can I look at it, the card that he's holding between his hand? And obviously he can't. And I don't make a big deal out of it. I simply just say, no, not yet. I could have, if I wanted to go a step further, added a bit of justification in there. Say, no, I don't want to look just yet. Something really incredible is going to happen. Or kind of flip the onus on them and give them a reason why they can't look. But in this case, he accepted my premise, right? I didn't really need to go any further with justifying why. Sometimes it's good to justify why, because it'll make them connect the dots a little bit, right? They'll say, okay, I can't look at it because insert whatever justification you give them. You know, maybe you just say, look, something incredible is going to happen in a moment. I don't want to spoil it. Okay, now they'll say, okay, that makes sense. You know, their brain will understand that premise and your justification for it, and they won't question it. If you just say, don't look at it, there's always the chance they'll ask why. And now there's a bit more heat on that moment, and so you don't want to be caught, especially if they ask you, if they specifically ask you why, and now you don't have a justification in mind. Now it looks even worse, right? So just kind of sometimes presenting that reason, whatever it happens to be. Like I say, you can justify pretty much anything. I'll link a video up here about justifications and all that, because it's so important, and my philosophy on it is anything can be justified if you just give it a little bit of thought, right? Literally anything. You could have your audience get up and dance on the table, do a backflip, eat a piece of broccoli, whatever you need them to do, if there's a reason for it. And it doesn't have to be a reason that if us as magicians took a step back and thought about it logically, would it make any sense? No, but it's just enough. A good example of that is like with an A-can. They'll say there's 2,700 possibilities or possible combinations, 52 times 52. When in reality, because they've named a card, an A-can is only a 1 in 52. It's just about that card being at said number. It only becomes a 1 in 2,700 if you were to make a prediction. If you predicted the card and the number, and then someone names a card and names a number, and you reveal that you predicted it, well, now you have two 1 in 52 chances, right? But if they just name a card, or if they just name a number, that isn't 1 in 52. That's just our baseline. The 1 in 52 is, will that card be at that number? And so that it's really just a 1 in 52, but we'll misconstrue this because it enhances our effect. People even bring up the 52 factorial different ways to shuffle a deck of cards, the billions and trillions and mega jillions of ways to shuffle a deck of cards, when that has nothing to do with an A-can, right? But they just make enough logical sense that the audience don't really question it, and so they just accept it as generally true, right? And it's the same kind of thing here. Subtle justifications. It doesn't need to be the most logically thought out. It just needs to be enough that the spectators won't question it, and you can just kind of keep it pushing through the performance.
I'll stop.
Commentate W right now, man. Oh my God.
Right there? Alright, so what we'll do is I'll take that card right there. See it? Yep.
So this is another force. So here I'm using a riffle force, and this I'm forcing on him the torn corner card. So this is already pre-torn, and the corner to that card has been placed inside the card that is now in the guy's hands, which was his original card that he picked, right? But he thinks he's holding on to just some random one. So here I just had a break, I do a riffle, he calls stop, and then instead of showing this card, because there'd be a torn corner, I'm just going to pull back like this and push the card up. And then I'm gonna pull it out, hiding the tear behind my hand. So the tear needs to be in the bottom left corner if the deck's facing me, so that when I rotate it out, I get the torn corner hidden under my hand, and then I can mime doing the rip and all that.
All right. Okay. This is what, 5 of clubs.
Yeah.
All right, guys, watch very carefully.
5 bucks.
All right, 1. Gotta get this cards away, my bad. All right, bye.
Always think about your pocket space. I hate when I'm like struggling to find something in my pocket or place something away. The reality is though, like with this setup I have, it's not my typical walk around setup. In this particular case, because I have the microphone on me, there's a little like mic receiver in that pocket and it gets in the way and it's annoying. I've since improved my setup a little bit. For me, because my everyday carry is so simple, maybe it'll be interesting if you guys are interested a little bit in how I kind of set up for my walk around performing. I'm a huge minimalist, so it doesn't take much. But for me, I'm right pocket phone. Okay, so right front pocket is the phone. Left front pocket, I do Sharpie and I clip the Sharpie on the outside of the pocket, so like it's hanging, like it's clipped over the edge so I can easily grab it. And I have a stack of billets and my main deck of cards is all in there. So once I take that deck out, like I'm using it now, then just the empty box is in that pocket. So that's that pocket. I like to have the billets and the cards and the Sharpie just super easily accessible. It's really just billets and Sharpie at that point in that pocket, but those are things that I need very easily accessible. I will keep the back right pocket open, and that's where I will often do card to pocket, because I like to do a top palm and then go back to the back right pocket if I'm doing card to pocket. So I'll leave that pocket empty, and then the back left pocket I'll put in any extra cards, or if I have an extra deck. So in the odd case where I have my blank deck set up for my J30 ACAN effect, best ACAN you can do. And speaking of J30 ACAN, I mentioned earlier doing the 1 in 2700 because you're predicting both the card and the number beforehand. J30 ACAN allows you to accomplish that and so much more. Do absolutely killer, the best ACAN you can do, because everything is predetermined, so you can do the most insane predictions well in advance. So if you want to learn that, it's available on my website. I'll link it up here. With an effect like that, sometimes I'll have my blank deck that I'll do the J30 ACAN with, so I could do an ACAN with a blank deck kicker, or sometimes I'll have once in a while a marked deck or a backup. Like I usually have a backup deck, so sometimes I have like 1 or 2 decks in there. And then any extra cards, which for me is really, sometimes I just have a blank card and a duplicate. And so if I'm not using the duplicate in the trick, I personally don't like to have it in the deck. I like to bring it in and out. A lot of the tricks I do, people are looking at the faces and naming cards, and you know, I've had it too often where, you know, surprisingly, people name the duplicate and then we're looking through it and we see that they see their card twice, or the 2 duplicates get shuffled next to each other. You know, it's not the end of the world. You can always just say, oh, you know, I have a bunch of decks. Sometimes cards get mixed up, but I just, you know, I like to know where it is. And especially when I need it for a trick, it's easy to just bring it in really easily. So I'll usually keep that in the back pocket along with a spare Sharpie. So these days, since I got my Orphic wallet, that has actually been going in the back right pocket, because now if I do card to pocket, I really just do card to wallet with the Orphic, so it's set up to do that. And I also have billets in there and the peaking device, so all that kind of stuff set. So that's usually how I prep my everyday carry. In this case, I had the mic receiver, so I had to clip the microphone on that front left pocket. Now let's get into the tearing kind of phase.
Whoa! See that? I want you to finish the tear. Pull, pull, pull.
You see everything down from the facial expressions, right? It's all about acting at this point. Like I'm an actor, right? You see my facial expression, like tongue's out, I'm pretending like it's a bit difficult. I do the little subtlety when I'm doing the fake rip of like flicking my finger, or even putting little small tears along that edge so they hear an audible sound. And then I love doing this. So I'll pinch with my thumb and ring finger. So remember, there would be no card, this corner wouldn't be there. So I'll just clip the bottom edge like this, and then this is covered. And I tear, and as I tear, I rotate the card. That's an important thing. If you, instead of just going like this, tear, and as you're completing the tear, you can see how the card starts to rotate. It really gives that illusion that you're tearing that corner off if you kind of do like that, right? So now I'm rotated, and I'll pinch the card here. These fingers will be out of the way, so they'll start to see that, like they'll actually see that it's being ripped here, and it'll just look like the corner's under my hand. And then I'll say pull, pull. That's what I'm about to do here. Pull, finish the tear. And since I'm pinching, they're gonna feel some resistance, and then it's gonna snap off, and it'll seem like the corner just tore off in my hand. So that's a beautiful little subtlety you'll see me do here.
Pull, bottom, from the bottom. All right, watch.
And that little hand movement, right, just sells it a little bit more. And then I immediately transfer it to this hand. I always think just doing a little transfer over to here is nice, and it feels like it's in this hand. But again, right away, I say watch, right? I'm bringing the attention to that corner. Because it's not actually there, I want to do all that much more to emphasize that there is something here, and I want to be fair and have them not take their eye off it, right? So there is an argument when you do the tear, maybe you don't even do the transfer because it's more clean to just hold it in that hand. I've always felt though, like if you think about holding something, you don't really it's just not natural to hold it and then put it into the hand. I find it's more natural to do like that, right? If you think of the small corner. So I've always just kind of done that. And I think if you say, you know, okay, watch, I'll take the corner, I'll place it here, and now watch, do not take your eye off it. Nothing in this hand, right? Very much emphasize that moment. I see so many people make a mistake with this type of angle Z effect after they do the fake tear. Then they might do a transfer, and they'll start talking, or they'll, you know, something will happen, and they don't bring attention to that. But if you're going to try to sell this as a vanish for a corner that was never there, you can't ever show like, hey, look, it's here, because it's never there. You can't show it and then, you know, do the vanish. So you have to have them believe it's there. From the second that card's taken away from your hands, you have a very finite amount of time to make the vanish happen before it's going to lose impact, because people need to believe that it's there. And if it's not there, you can't show it to them. So they need to believe in the illusion that it's there, and that only lasts so long.
The corner. You ready? Watch.
Little tip. So big group like this, I had my hand down a little bit lower here, and I was worried that if I go like this and open my hand, like some people, they wouldn't see it, same way you guys wouldn't see that there's nothing into my hand. So little tip, if you turn your hand up like this, you can do the vanish in a very similar way, you know, if you want to do that, or just open your hand. But it gives a very great view for everyone to see that way.
Weird, right? This wasn't your card either, right? That's not your card?
No.
What was the name of your card? Yeah, what is it?
King of Hearts.
Diamond. Okay, and
This is another little thing that happens a lot, right? As magicians, people getting their suits mixed up, or the values even sometimes. So that's one reason it's great to have other people see the card, because usually someone will correct them. But if you know, like in this case, I know what his card is because I've forced it. And I always recommend forcing a card if you can. There's really no reason for a free selection in 90% of tricks. And the force just gives you that much more control. So just learn a clean force and you're good to go. Hence my spread force. I always use that. Now, because I know what the card is, right? If this wasn't a force, I might not know that he's wrong here. And even if he flips over the card in a moment and it's not the card he said, but then he remembers, oh yeah, that is it, you're never going to get the same impact, because some other people might not have seen the card, so now they see it, they think it's wrong. He's not going to have the same response because he's, has to sort that out in his head. He would just never have that reaction, right? Because he's going to have to process, oh, what's going on? Oh yeah, that is it, right? It's always so key, in my opinion, if you can know what the card is, either through a force or at least having them show it to other people, which usually isn't a problem if you have a group. Because all I do is, he says King of Hearts, and think about it, he doesn't know that I know what his card is. So I can't just say, it's not the King of Hearts, or are you sure it's the King of Hearts? Like in a strange way where it implies that I know what it is. If you listen to how I handled it, and we'll watch it again in a second, it does kind of feel like I'm suggesting that his card is wrong, because really I am, but the psychology, I'm trying to make it feel like I didn't hear him, right? I didn't hear what he said. So he says King of Diamonds, I said King of what? Like I didn't hear what he said. But it's going to make him rethink about what that card is and give other people an opportunity to speak up. I know that that's the wrong card, but I'm giving him an opportunity to change it. I'm not giving away that I know it. I'm just making it seem like, what, you said the King of what? Another thing you can do is just ask him, are you sure? It was, so King of Hearts, you're sure about that? Not in a, are you sure? Like you know, but like, are you sure about that? Just like you're double checking, right? So watch how I handle it.
what is it?
King of Hearts.
Diamond. Okay, and what card?
He says King of Hearts, I said King of, right? And it's like I'm listening for it, and then everyone else kind of jumps in. Now this moment, I'm so far ahead, the card's already switched out. He thinks he has another card in his hand, so you see I'm gonna ask him again. This is where recapping and re-emphasis is so important. At this moment, I could just say, okay, flip it over, and he'll flip it over and he'll see, oh, okay, it is the King of Hearts, and he might get a good reaction. But I'm gonna remind him why recapping is so important. I'm gonna make sure he remembers that the card he is holding on to is not the King of Hearts. He remembers it's that other Jack or whatever it happens to be. So I'm gonna say, and what was the card you were holding on to? And I don't tell him, I have him remember it, right? So many performers are so quick to fill in the words for people. Ask them, let them use their critical thinking and their recall, because when they have that recall to, oh yeah, I remember when he showed me the jack, turned it over and put it in my hand, right? So now they recap it and the memory is so much stronger. So that is going to increase the reaction that we're about to get, because I'm re-emphasizing that, and I'm actually having him establish the link back to that memory of me putting the jack in his hands and him having held on to that the whole time. Now, as far as he's concerned in his head, 100%, as far as he knows, no question, that is the jack in his hand. So when it changes, now I've created magic, right? Magic is created in the mind. Magic is a feeling, magic is a thought. This, what I'm about to say, is me creating the magic. If I just told him to flip it over right now, I did not do my due diligence in creating this magical moment.
And jack of hearts or something. Yeah. Watch. Flip it over.
That's cat.
No, hold on. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're missing the...
And so I think I rushed this a little bit. I'm like, oh, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. And I used to have a bad habit of that when I was a bit younger, of rushing moments when I knew something better was coming, because I'm always so excited to get on to the big thing, right? And so I've been working on that, you know, over the years, and I think I've gotten better at that. Having performances like this to critique is great, but you see how I almost immediately rush into the next thing because I'm just so excited, because I know this moment's gonna hit even stronger. But you see how that got a pretty good reaction, and it's because they were able to connect. Before he even turned it over, he said there's no way, right? Because he knows now that that should be the jack.
Corner still. It vanished, right?
It's coming out of your mouth. I already know.
Hey, just tear the card in half. Slowly. Tear it down the middle.
Actually,
Yeah.
Another reason I love this effect, because you see he says, wait, actually? And everyone else goes, what? Like, it's such a strange, mysterious, they have no, like, and the fact that he selected this card and like it's his signed card is a great effect. You know, he has a souvenir, he has a souvenir, you can give out the corner to someone, the other half of this card to someone. So souvenirs galore. There could be like 4 souvenirs from this effect. It's such a unique moment, them getting to do the ripping, and that's why I love it.
Slowly, though. Keep going. Look. Keep going.
don't do this to me, man.
Look inside the tear. Look inside the card.
There's something there. I see it too. What the fuck? Oh, right. Yo, is this David Blaine? What the fuck? It's gonna be nice.
Doesn't match. Check. Doesn't match.
What the fuck? Oh, no. Fucking Blaine.
Perfect.
Fuck. Here's the next David Blaine, buddy. Keep going with that.
Pretty cool, eh?
That's pretty insane.
That's fucking good, man.
Yo!
So as you can see, look, he's got goosebumps. He's pointing it out. This is just such an incredibly strong effect. I love it. I always do this in my close-up sets. It just hits so hard. It's fun. It's interactive. It's different. It's not really a torn and restored, but it's like, it feels like it in a way. It's a torn card to impossible location, but it's also portable, so self-contained. Man, I do so many things with this kind of principle that's going on in this. Man, I love this trick. You know, it's one of those things that I also feel so confident performing, because everything is so much in your control. It's so simple to do. It's 2 forces and a double lift, right? And as long as you've done the preparation right, it gives you a lot of opportunity to perform, which is the type of stuff I love in close-up. You know, where I really have full control in an environment like this, where there's people that might be drinking and younger, and people all over coming up on the streets. Like, having these more closed-in surefire effects is amazing. One thing that I love about it is when he's doing that final tear, is like, he doesn't even know what he's looking for, and it's always like, you see everyone start to click in what's about to happen. And because you have to use a card with the same back, because it, you know, the torn card comes from the same deck, it kind of blends in, so they don't see it that much longer, and I think it kind of builds a nice little bit of anticipation. And by the way, I apologize for the language in this video. This was before I started bleeping out the swears in the street magic, so apologies, bear with me.
Has anyone seen magic before, close up?
No. Yeah?
Yeah? All right.
Bad magic.
So this group, I don't know what effect I'm about to do. I think it's unshuffling the colors, because as you can hear from my little approach there, this is actually the first effect that I did from this group. So this is an opener. It's always nice to know what I open with in sets, so this is an opener. I believe it's Unshuffling the Colors, Kostya Kimlat. But yeah, these guys were actually, I remember they were across the street. So there's a big street right here. And I saw them, they were kind of hanging out. So I went over and then I brought them across the street because it was a better area to film over here. And yeah, they were cool. They were a cool group, you know, they're younger, they're a little shy. You can see how I, you know, break the ice and work into the first effect.
Okay, I'll hopefully do a better job for you, all right? I need some people with some free hands. You want to help me out? Yeah. All right, a couple people.
Puts his ice cream down.
I want to be a part of this. What do you mean?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. All right, I just want you to mix up those cards, all right? Everyone take a turn, just shuffle them up, make sure it's all mixed, all right? Everything like that.
So I love these kind of effects. Everyone can shuffle. That's why I open with this or my Triumph, because everyone can shuffle, get involved. You know, so many people into it right away.
You got a good shuffle.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Perfect. All right, when you're happy, just set them down in a pile on the table for me.
Sure.
Yeah, just on top of each other. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, now who wants to pick a card? The best part of the trick.
Cap's got it.
You want to pick one? All right, here's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna call stop for me whenever you'd like, okay?
Stop.
Right there. You sure?
Yep.
Remember that card, you got it?
Yep.
This is such a nice execution of everybody's peak. So this is a peak I learned from Kostya Kimlat as well. I'll link that up here. I've taught my handling on it. So this is called everybody's peak. One of my favorite peaks to do. This is a flawless execution of it because you can see how it literally just looks like I dribbled the cards and my head's turned the whole time and I'm showing him the deck, but I already know exactly what card I'm showing him. It's not a force, but it's a peek. So I peeked that card. And essentially it's just the angle at which you're holding the cards where you can actually get a glimpse of that pip from the back, but from the front it doesn't look like it. And then, you know, I explain all the subtleties and all that, but essentially as you turn your head at the right moment, and then it just looks like this image and you can hand the deck out instantly. So literally how it would look for the camera, so I'd be like this, call stop right here, okay, I'll show them that card, I won't look, and then they can shuffle it and I know that's 6 of diamonds, right? So I'd highly recommend you learn that peek. Great practical walk around peek.
Don't forget it. Everyone saw it? Yeah. All right, here, someone mix it up again. I don't even want to know. That's fit.
And that's just like unbelievably clean, right? It's instant handout, no funny moves, nothing.
Right? He looked at a card, he's mixing it. There's no way I can know. Now, I'm going to try to figure out his card, all right? But it's a work in progress, so we're going to see how this goes, all right? So what I need you to do, I'm going to go through the cards, and I want you to focus on your card. It's not this one, is it? Okay, good. Sometimes it is, and I don't want to make sure that's not the case. All right. So here's what we'll do. Focus on the card. I want who saw the card? You, everyone saw it. Okay, so everyone focus. I'm going to go through, and don't say anything. Don't give anything away. I need a poker face, right? But I'm going to try my best to see if I can read you guys, figure out what your card is, all right? All right, perfect. So let's keep an eye on it. None of these. Okay. No.
And I love that premise with this effect. There's some modifications. I used to do it very similar to the original, but I really love the premise of, I'm gonna try to read you guys, and I don't know if this is gonna work. You see how I set that up early on? Like I said, this is a work in progress. It's not, but you'll see how it'll set up for the moment later on when I act like, I'm not really getting it, I'm not on the right track. And Kostya has this really nice line of like, I wasn't able to really narrow it down, but I was able to narrow it down from 52 to 26. I know that's not that good, but that's it. And I always usually use that line because I like it. It fits well in the context, and you'll see how it kind of flows into each moment of the routine.
Yeah, okay, I feel like it could be around there somewhere.
So you see how as I'm going through executing the move right now, I'm taking my time with it. I'm really selling the fact of what I told them, that I'm trying to read them. You saw I just looked up at the guy. In a moment here, I might pause for a minute, look, say here, really study these. Is there any of these? But even more so now I do that, where I'm really taking my time. I'm not just ripping through executing the secret move and trying to do it as fast as possible. It's like going through, hey, do you see your card here? No? Okay, let me try with you. To just look at these cards, look at these. No, okay, yeah, okay, you're no good at this. How about you? Yeah, okay, now, I think it might be one of these. Right, I'm really taking my time selling it, pretending like I'm reading them. It fits the premise, it gives me more time, lets me take my time, avoid mistakes. Definitely the way to go.
No, okay. No, how about you? They're tough to read over there, let's see. Okay, I've narrowed it down a little bit. You guys are a tough group. Now, you didn't shuffle like this, right? You shuffled like the riffle shuffle, right? That's sometimes what's throwing me off. You know what? let me show you guys something real cool. This is my backup plan. It's called the Unshuffle. All right, it happens really quick, so watch. Don't lose focus. I go like this just like you did, but watch. And just like that, I actually unshuffle all of the red cards and all of the black cards. Just like that. It's crazy, right?
That was sick.
Now you're probably asking, how does this help me figure out your card, right?
I love that moment. It's just such an unexpected moment. And I wouldn't say I really played into the making it seem like something went wrong and I'm gonna save it with the unshuffle. These days I like that. It's kind of like, oh, you know, I really wasn't able to narrow down your card. You guys are really tough to read, which I did say here, but I don't think I played into it as much as I normally do. But then, you know, I say, okay, here's my backup plan. People ask me what happens when things go wrong, so this is what I normally do. It's called the unshuffle, and then I kind of get into this. But this moment's just so incredibly strong. Shuffle deck, they shuffled it all. They all had it mixed, and you can separate them like that. It looks like true, not even magic, just incredible skill, really. On a side note, if you see here my shirt, it says ask to see a magic trick. So this is the Show Me a Trick tee. This is available on my website. It comes with a full tutorial. There's basically a 3-phase effect built into this t-shirt. Ultimate everyday carry. You put on the shirt and you got a 3-phase routine with you. Basically, the first 2 phases are kind of gag phases. You can kind of see the performance in the trailer. Now, I will note, I don't really like the performance in the trailer. It's not a very good performance. But this trick is one of those things that's not really easy to get on camera, given the nature of it. It's kind of an impromptu thing. Works better when people will just walk up and ask to see a magic trick with that written on your back, and you kind of get into it from there. You can just, you know, use it as an actual trick. Go up to someone and say, you know, hey, if you saw me walking on the street and you saw, you know, you're behind me, what would you ask me? And you can go into it that way, and I cover all those ideas on the tutorial. The first phase, you do a little gag. They ask to see a magic trick. You turn around and, you know, it says a magic trick on the front of your t-shirt if you see earlier on. Then you do a whole your card thing. You say, okay, let me show you something for real. Think of a card. Wouldn't it be crazy if I had your card printed on my shirt? And I say yes. And then you turn, you rub this sleeve, and incredibly something prints on your shirt and it says your card, right? It's the your card gag, the 52-to-1 gag there. So that's always funny. And then the third phase is actually a magical phase where you say, okay, so what was that card that you had in mind? They tell you, and then you can show that that card is printed on your shirt for real. So it's a pretty cool little fun little trick. It was one of the first little self-releases I did. It's still available. It's a ton of fun. I performed this to a bunch of guys, to Lloyd Barnes and a bunch of people at Blackpool, Jake Keane. They all thought it was great. They loved it. It's just a fun thing. I love showing it to magicians because it's just kind of one of those funny things. It's kind of multiple outs in a way, and obviously some outs are better than others. A lot of the time you fry them because you get one of those good outs and it just kills them. It's just a really cool little effect. If you're interested in that, it is on my website. The other thing I love about this shirt is, especially when I'm like doing street magic, you know, I don't have to approach people very often anymore. People see the shirt and they come up to me. They ask to see a magic trick because I have that printed in bold on the back of my shirt. So if you struggle to perform, this is an amazing shirt to wear. Or if you struggle to approach, it's incredible.
Put your hand on top of that for me. Throw your hand on top of that one for me, if you don't mind.
No way.
Now, I don't know what your card is, but I do know that I've narrowed it down to 1 of 26. I know it's a red card, right? It's a red card. Now, I'll try something amazing because I'm not sure what it is, but if you tell me the name, I won't go anywhere near those. What's the name of your card? Yeah, say it. 3 of diamonds.
So this is one of the big moments I've changed from this effect. Probably in the last year or two, I found that I kept at this moment, every time I would say, you know, I was able to narrow it down 1 of 26. I know it's a red card, they'd say yes, and I said, okay, I'll be honest, I don't know which card it is, but if you tell me, I'll show you something incredible. People would always be very hesitant to tell me because they're like, no, I want you to find it, because that was the whole premise of the original trick, which makes a lot of sense, right? I should find their card without them telling me. And I always understood why Costa did it that way, because if they don't think you know what the card is, then this last transposition is even more incredible. And I agreed with that for a long time. But one, I didn't like the moment of them saying, you know, I hate when they're like, do I have to tell you? Like, yes, you have to tell me. I told you to tell me, you know, like, I understand why they do it, so I'm not blaming the spectator, but I didn't like that moment. And I get that all the time. And you kind of get it here even, right? He is hesitant. And then one time I was with a group and I decided to do it as a divination. I'm like, well, I peeked the card. Why don't I just introduce some mind reading? I'm a mentalist here. And so I just went into a bit of process, did the reveal. And like, I'm still amazed to this day at how much people freak out from divining a thought of playing card, even a picked playing card, you know? And with this peek, it's so clean that it works so well. Like, do not underestimate the power of revealing a playing card. Having someone pick a card, peeking it or forcing it and revealing it. Like, especially if you can have them shuffle it back into the deck and the deck is kind of out of play and then it just feels like they're thinking of it. It really gets strong reactions, like incredible reactions, especially if you take it out a little bit. You know, you guess the color from some person, the suit from another, and then the value. You can really, you know, draw it out and get a lot of moments. So that's what I do now. I draw it out, I make it a piece of mind reading, and it's just got so much, you know, so many better reactions. It's logical with the premise because I'm still technically finding their card just through some mind reading. So I'll usually say something like, yeah, you know, I wasn't able to figure out your card this way, but let me see if I can pick up on it, if I can, you know, if we're in sync, if I can get to know you here a bit, and maybe we can try something even more impressive later. So I also set up for my mentalism down the line, which is great. And then you just have that strong, another moment of magic, another strong reaction. And because it's seemingly mind reading and the cards are already in these two guys' hands at this point, it seems still like I didn't know what the card was when this transposition is going to happen. So it doesn't take away from that. It still has that same strength. I didn't do that here, but that's what I do now.
All right, watch. You see the 3 of diamonds? Just like that. Take a look. Spread through, spread through. All the black cards. And hopefully...
What the
one red card.
What the fuck?
Isn't that weird, guys?
What the hell?
Hopefully that was better than some of the ones
No,
you've
it's
seen.
way much better.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Alright guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the tips here. There was a ton of great stuff, super important things, and I really urge you to kind of take some of the things that I said and actually try to apply them into your own magic. I think it's great even for myself to step back and take a second look at my performances and see how I can learn and grow from there and share that advice with you guys. So with that said, if you'd like to join the channel membership, get access to my mentalism course, my brand new live lecture, promptless mentalism masterclass, and a whole bunch of other content, link is available in the description. Or if you'd like a private lesson, link is down there as well. And with all that said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.